This is Star Wars The Vintage Collection Mace Windu. The figure is part of Wave 4 of the Vintage Collection series, or the Attack of the Clones wave. And here is a look at the packaging. Very nice. I think he's about to kill Jango Fett in this picture. Here is the rest of the assortment. Same assortment as Kit Fisto, and that's the first Mace Windu figure that was released in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Mace Windu. I missed out on that one. Okay. So, I'm going to put him here because this thing falls. Okay. I do have an a couple of years back, I got this Mace Windu figure. He's got a fuchsia blade compared to the purple blade. This was the figure that, well, it had little articulation, but it had this spring-loaded arm right here that had the a force blast that went with it that you could just launch by flicking the tip of the missile, and it would launch. And there were some droids that came with it that you could knock down. This wasn't such a bad figure. I actually liked this one a lot. I was thinking of selling this for a couple of times, but I decided to keep it because, well, for one thing, this figure was the figure that started me into collecting the newer Star Wars figures again. When I was a kid, I had a lot of G1 or first release Kenner figures. Never really liked them because of the lack of articulation. When I grew up, I lost all of them, most of them at least, and really wanted figures that had articulation. So this one was okay, I suppose. It had great detail. Despite the lack of articulation, still, I liked the fact that it was posed great, and I was a big fan of Mace Windu, so I went ahead and picked it up. This one, if you notice, has a magnet, and the magnet still works. Okay. The magnet still works. This one is made of metal, I think, and there we go. It's really a magnet. If it would stop embarrassing me, there we go. See, so it's pretty cool. I really like this figure. But with this figure, I really fell in love now with this figure because Hasbro really outdid themselves with this one, just like what they did with the Kit Fisto. This guy has everything in it, bells and whistles. They never spared anything to get this figure going, because he's got his Jedi robe, soft goods waist cape or lower part of his garment. He's got two lightsabers, one unignited, which is completely removable, but it's just very hard to put it in, so I'm not going to remove it. He's got an ignited one. He's got complete articulation, except ball hinge hips. That's probably the only thing that's wrong with this figure. I cannot imagine they could give Kit Fisto, the guy has a ton of plastic on his head, and yet they were able to give him ball hinge hips. This guy has the same articulation, a lot less hair on his head, and yet they gave him swivel hips. Come on, Hasbro, what's your game? What are you playing at? Okay, the fans deserve more. But anyway, it's still a great figure. The detail more than offsets the lack of hip articulation. I'm really liking this figure. I haven't opened up my Jango Fett, so it's a shame. I would have wanted to just him by slash Jango Fett's head. But one of my favorite Jedi Masters of all time was really Mace Windu. It was so badass. It was so cool in the movies and even in the cartoon. If you're a big fan of the movies, even if you hate the prequels, you've got to give Hasbro some props for this figure, and you've got to get this one. Yeah, very nice. So, just so we're all clear with articulation, because I'm sure somebody's going to say again, you did not discuss articulation. Ball jointed neck. He's actually got a very articulated ball jointed upper torso or waist, so it's very nice. Ball hinge shoulders and elbows, swivel wrist, as I mentioned earlier, swivel hips, ball hinge knees, and ball hinge ankles. So very cool indeed. Let me just stand him up right there. And I didn't fold these sleeves. It came when it was packaged. The sleeves were already folded up, so very grateful for that. Not good at doing that, but I'm very grateful for that because it would show his arms, his hands, and really nice of Hasbro to do that in packaging. So very cool, very nice, very awesome Mace Windu. If you can see him on retail, highly recommend you pick this guy up. So there, I hope I've sort of shed some light on issues on this figure. If you haven't picked him up, I strongly recommend you get him. I got him on retail. Bit of a note. I'm not sure everyone's going to be watching this video, but for those of you who are watching this video, I still get a lot of questions asking me where I get my figures or if I'm going to review of this one. I get my figures and toys from 3 stores: Toys R Us, Toy Kingdom, and Our Toys. They're all located here in Manila. And if you don't know where Manila is in the Philippines, where Manny Pacquiao hails from. Will I be reviewing any of the upcoming figures? I don't know. My answer is always, I gotta see them on retail. I need to see these figures up close and personal on the shelf or whatever, but I need to see them up close and personal, and that will make or break it for me. The detailed paint apps, whatever. So I hope I've answered those frequently asked questions. Those 2 questions are the most frequently asked ones. So if you're thinking of asking me where I get my figures, where did I get this guy, retail, retail, retail. Nothing beats retail. eBay's too expensive for me. Online, the shipping just kills it for me because I live so far away. So retail. And will I get them? Let's hope so. I mean, if I have enough money, still, I'll probably get the figures that I want, and you'll just have to wait and see. So there you go. Another lengthy review by a very simple figure. The Star Wars Vintage Collection from the Attack of the Clones wave, the Jedi Master Mace Windu. Thanks for watching.